wish it was better, and I wish at least UWO Mental Health Services, when I contacted them, when I called them actually, I wish they recommended that service to me rather than just saying we can't do anything and close the phone.
Hello guys, welcome to International Student Support's You Are Not Alone podcast. My name is Dima and I will be your host. In today's episode, we'll be speaking to Asma from Qatar about fear of missing out as an international student.
Please, we'd like you to introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Asma. I'm a Pakistani first year in social science, hoping to pursue PPE, which is philosophy, politics, and economics. And I'm currently based in Qatar.
Amazing.
And I'm currently in Qatar. Sorry, I should mention that.
Yes, I was just gonna ask that. So today, since you're in Qatar and like you're an international student, we were hoping to just get you to share your experience with like specifically fear of missing out, given that this year has been different and like the whole online situation and like just being abroad and not by the university. So today's topic is going to be fear of missing out. And we're just going to ask you a couple questions and have a nice conversation. So the first question is, what's something about, either university or social life that you were or, still are afraid of missing out on?
So honestly, I think the first thing that comes to mind would definitely be residence. Obviously, I've never even stepped foot into Canada. So moving in was a prospect that is very daunting to me. And I thought residence was such an amazing idea and way to have a community as an international student, especially since it's a lot of new beginnings, especially for internationals. So it's really sad to miss out on that. And it's definitely something that I'm still kind of intimidated by, just the prospect of moving and wondering how all of that is going to really unravel when I do actually get to move. Will I be in residence? Will I be off campus? It's just really uncertain right now. And I think that really impacts, your mental health in a way when you can't actually know and navigate the country that you're about to go to because you've never been in and you don't really know when you'll be there as well. So yeah, residence was something that I was really looking forward to that I unfortunately missed out on, like my international peers.
Yeah, honestly, I agree kind of with you. Like, I don't really know what you're going through because like I'm not in that position, but I definitely do understand what you're saying, and like it's not easy, and I like understand maybe like next year is gonna be like your first year technically in terms of like moving into a new country and like the whole adjusting situation. Is there anything else other than that maybe you're afraid of missing out on, or was that like the main thing?
There's for sure more. Like, for example, this is something that I already missed out on.
Yeah, we want you to like share everything with us because like I'm sure there are some international students who are like probably gonna be watching this, and we just want them to like listen to something they actually relate to. So you can like talk all you want and like share your experience. We would love it.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so one thing that I think every international student that's a first year can relate to is we all missed out on O Week. And Western is literally notorious for having the best orientation weeks. It is such an important week because that really introduces you to the university life. It helps you, build that community connections. It makes you meet amazing people and have that first real school spirit moment, and I feel like as international students, like we miss that because we obviously couldn't travel, and not having that, it kind of made the fact of us being in university feel kind of surreal because we didn't have that proper end to high school, and now we didn't have that proper introduction to university. So like it kind of feels like we're just kind of floating and rolling with the punches as university work loads on top of us, and we're trying to keep our head above the waters, but we still don't really feel like university students. We just feel like we're doing homework, but the homework is on steroids, and it just feels overwhelming at times. And I think we really neglect sometimes the importance of not neglect, but we kind of forget how important it is to have that good start, because it really sets you up for success for the coming year. And I think a lot of international students kind of fell short of that. And at least I know I did. Another thing that I feel like as an international student that I really missed out on is definitely like the bonding experiences that you're supposed to have in class with your peers, with your professors, your TAs. That bonding experience is such an important element that helps you really thrive at university, that makes you, you know, successful in your studies and everything. Being able to go to your prof in person, explain things, and just really just have that connection, it's not there. I mean, there's only so much you can have a connection when it's all online, right?
Definitely. I totally agree. Like this is a really big one. Like even for me personally, and like with many students who are like currently going through like the whole online learning, whether they're in first year or second year, I'm pretty sure like for first years it's a bit more difficult because it's like, you know, just your first year, you're new, you really want to get the experience. But I would definitely agree that this is actually a hard one. Like not having this, you know, social interaction with people around you, and kind of like, you know, interacting with your professors as well as the TAs, just as you mentioned. So yeah, I definitely agree on that.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's such an important element. Like, and I think we all took it for granted. I think that's what COVID has made us all realize, how much we took for granted the little things, just talking to your professor, just seeing your professor in
Yeah.
person. I'm
I
sure it
know.
must be awesome. Like,
Yeah,
I don't even know what that's like.
yeah,
And
I never knew that I would ever miss being like on campus that much, but like this year I actually do miss being on campus, and I actually miss 8:30 classes. Like this is really, really like crazy, but I never thought I would say that, but I really do. Like I would rather have 8:30 classes than like stay home and like study from home.
honestly, I would take 8:30 classes any day. I have 2 a.m. classes being
Oh my
international.
goodness.
I'm sure many of us can relate. These time zones don't help. These time zones make it really painful, the experience, like
Are your
just having
classes,
to juggle it.
sorry, are your
Mhm.
classes synchronous or asynchronous?
They're actually all asynchronous apart from my tutorials. Two of my tutorials are set. One's at 2 a.m.
Okay.
And the other is at like 10:30.
Mhm.
And it's just very messy, like, you know, the time zones, and it doesn't help. I know some people who literally have, you know, to stay up at 4 a.m. to do their classes. I have exams at 2 a.m. for my final
Wow.
economics. So it's crazy, honestly. But yeah.
Best of luck, honestly. And like the fact that you're gonna get through this is huge. Like just remember that you're gonna get through this and it's all gonna be over soon, hopefully. And you know, and you actually really tried your best. I mean, like writing an exam at 2 a.m. is not easy. Like I don't think anyone's done that before, like except for like the online learning right now, like students who are like abroad and like the difference in time. But yeah,
Exactly.
honestly, do what you can to keep yourself motivated. Like keep reminding yourself that it's gonna be over soon, hopefully. And yeah, we got this.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I think you touched on a very important point. Whether it's FOMO or whether it's like, you know, just overwhelming academics, it's so important to just carry on, like
Yeah,
just keep moving forward. There's no point just throwing yourself a pity party that no one wants to even attend, not even
yeah,
yourself. And it's just so crucial that, you know, we continue to try to reach out to help, even if it's virtual. Try to interact with your profs,
yeah,
even if, you know, these events are on online and you wish it was in person. Continue to seek those experiences, even if it's online, like this podcast. Like, I think it's
yeah,
so important to just make sure that you don't let the external affect the internal too much, even though it will, and that's okay. Like, it's
yeah,
important to just note that there is, to an extent, control that you have over what you want from your life. Even if the university experience isn't exactly as you wanted it to be,
definitely.
you can
Yeah.
still have a satisfying one. It just takes a little bit more initiative and effort, for sure.
Definitely, I definitely agree on that. And I was just like talking about that the other day, and I was like, yes, like we are staying home the whole time and like online learning and all, but we can
Mhm.
also put in some effort. Like we need to put in the effort so we can like
Exactly.
get out of this, you know, bubble and get, you know, just get away from the, you know, laptop or like computer, whatever it is, you know, and just kind of make time for things that are important as well. Because I feel like given the online learning now, it's like so much time consuming. And literally, like I personally, all I did in the beginning was like sit in front of my, like, you know, computer and study the whole day, or like, just waste so much time on my computer more than I did, and I wouldn't, give myself some time. So speaking of that, as an international student studying abroad online, how are you staying motivated, and what are things you're doing so that you can feel, less of the fear of missing out, if that makes sense? Like, how are you making this whole situation better for yourself?
So I'm glad you asked that, because this method that I'm about to mention, it's helped me in so many aspects, both academic and social, and that is study calling. I can't recommend it enough. It all started when, honestly, I had quite a lot of motivation in the beginning, but it was quickly kind of burning out. So what I started doing was study calling. I just messaged a friend from Western, and I would be like, do you want to just call? And we would mute ourselves while we worked and then unmute and talk during our breaks. And then we slowly started expanding that study call. We started adding like one person and then two people. And then we all became like an actual group of friends that were there for each other, not in just in academic struggles, but emotional struggles throughout this whole process. And a lot of us were international students, so we all could get what each of us was going through.
Yeah.
And I think study calls was like, honestly, the best thing that could have happened to me. Like, it's weird, it sounds very nerdy, but like it's literally for anyone
Yeah.
and everyone. Like, I think it's so easy to implement because it tackles two things. One thing is that, we're all obviously busier than usual with it being online, so people don't have time for fun things to interact and all that. So by study calling, not only are you being productive, but you're also interacting. So it's a great way to just uplift the mood and keep yourself motivated and going. And yeah, I love that. That was one really useful method. So 100% recommend.
Yeah, I would recommend that as well. Like, I do that from time to time. Like, I go on a Zoom call with my friend, we mute each other. Like, you don't have to work at the same time and like on the same pace. Just mute yourselves, work at your own pace, and then it just feels like you have someone you're studying with, and like you both kind of like keep track of each other, which I honestly find that really helpful.
It's the presence.
Yeah, it is. Like, this is it, like it is what it is, and we just have to make do of what we have and like try to make the best out of it. Next question. So are there any like clubs or extracurriculars that you've like joined or you're participating in that are helping with the whole, online learning abroad, and like feeling like you're not very involved in the university activities given that you're like abroad? So what are you doing to feel like you're actually close to university?
So clubs, I'm doing 3 at the moment, and it actually is so helpful. It's definitely given me a sense of community. It's definitely helped me meet and expose myself to more people. Some clubs that I'm doing is PSA. Shout out to that family. It's amazing. Pakistani Students Association. It's absolutely amazing. I'm also doing Enactus, and I'm also doing Rotaract. And they're all amazing clubs. Like, honestly, if it doesn't matter, even if you're like international or domestic, you have to get into clubs. I feel like it doesn't even have to be for your resume building, but like, it's just the prospect of seeing people, meeting people, and just that character that develops when you do that. So I 100% think clubs are an excellent method of trying to keep the FOMO at bay, because it lets you trying to still, carry on, make the most of the situation, and still seek experiences that you would have gotten if you were in campus. And clubs are available to you. So try to reach out to that and try to actually take advantage of the fact that you have so many at Western. And yeah, those are some of the
Definitely.
clips I'm doing.
Yeah, like almost everything you mentioned, I feel like I relate to, or like I would advise someone else to do. So just kind of to like summarize everything, can you just like give whoever is watching this like podcast, listening to this podcast, sorry, just like, a summary of like some advice you would give them, like the most important, that something that really, really, really helped you.
All right. So honestly, I think it's important to remember that as lonely as it may feel at times, you are not alone. There are thousands of international students, even beyond Western, even beyond Canada, even like the entire world, essentially. There are thousands of international students and even domestic students that are experiencing FOMO. They feel like they're missing out on experiences. And it's not even just students. The entire world has kind of stopped because of COVID.
Definitely.
So it's so important to remember that, like, you aren't doing this on your own, and there are people that feel the way you do. And also noting that, you know, it's important to practice a gratitude and always try to find something to be grateful for rather than wishing that you had something else, as great as that might be. Because like think of your life pre-COVID, when you had like all the things, like, and you didn't actually realize
How
how much
important
you
they
took for
are.
granted until COVID took it away, right?
Mhm.
So it's so important that like during this experience, as hard as it may be, like you remember to be grateful for like the small things, be it, you know, your mom's chai, be it your brother's laugh, be it like when the, you know, you're outside and the sun's still out. I don't think winter has hit any winter has hit too hard yet. And also, I think the last thing I would say is that if you can't find something to be grateful for, then try to find something to learn from this experience. You can always develop your mindset, grow as a person throughout this hardship and this struggle, and you are more than capable of overcoming this. And when you do come out of it, you'll realize that you've developed and you've bloomed a lot throughout this season, and there's a lot to be proud of for it. And
Definitely.
you will eventually have the experiences that you missed out on, and you will eventually have a fulfilling university experience, and it'll definitely make you appreciate things a lot more. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah, that's amazing. Honestly, I definitely agree. And like, thank you so much for sharing. So my last question would be, so what's something you wish the university was doing to make sure that you don't miss out, or you feel like it's doing enough and like you're good, in the sense that the university is providing you with enough resources, you know, or like events, whatever, to like kind of not miss out on things.
Okay, so one thing that I wish Western was doing a lot more of was emphasizing on international students' mental health, because I actually reached out to mental health services by UWO, and they actually turned me away because I wasn't living in Ontario. And I was reaching out during a point where I felt a lot of academic burden and just was really feeling the FOMO and really feeling the mental pain of it all. And they just turned me away. Essentially, they said that they couldn't do anything. There was too many legal reasons involved, and I felt like it was kind of wrong of Western to constantly advertise, if you need help, then reach out. If you need help, you can do, like, we have services in place for you. And then the moment international students reach out for that services, it's not really there. And then when I contacted, when I told my friend, she contacted her SOF, who said that, you know, there's an international like student like counseling
Yeah,
and
there's
all
an
that, but
international and exchange student center. I was just about to recommend that. They're super helpful. Like they are there for international students. So I feel like, honestly, for me personally, when the whole pandemic happened, I they were like my first resort. I went to them, I spoke to them, because I wasn't sure if I can like leave the country to go back home, or if I'm allowed to go back in after like the whole, you know, stress of like, should I leave or should I stay. So
exactly.
I went there, and like I gave them a call, I spoke to them about it, and they were so much helpful. So I
That's
would
good.
definitely recommend speaking to them, because they would never ever turn you away, and they
Yeah.
would always find a solution for you. So did
Yeah.
you end up contacting them?
I mean, I contacted them before the initial incident, and you know, I got help with like visa related thingies, which was
Yeah,
somewhat helpful. But like in terms of the mental health focus, I wish that's what Western put more emphasis on for that, you know, and for the IESC. I do think that they're doing the best that they can, but I do think I wish it was better, and I wish at least UWO mental health services, when I contacted them, when I called them actually, I wish they recommended that service to me rather than just saying we can't do anything and close the phone.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'd wish more from Western. But other than that, like, I think ISSS has been really filling the shoes actually
Oh
of
my God, thank
Western
you so
by
much.
really trying to build a community amongst international students. So I really give you guys props for that. So yeah, that's my
Thank you.
thoughts
Yeah.
on it
I just
overall.
want to say, like, our team, honestly, is amazing. Like, everyone's like super hardworking. Everyone wants to like really work hard to like give the best events and campaigns possible, and most importantly, to kind of let like kind of make international students feel like they're heard, and like give them a voice. So thank you for like being on this podcast.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Special thanks to Asma for giving up her valuable time to speak to us. We hope this podcast made you realize that you're not alone. Join us tomorrow to hear about Xinyuan's experience with online learning. Also, don't forget to follow us on social media. We are on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube.